Thank you for staying with TV3. Good evening and welcome to News 360. I am Aisha Yakubu Hale.
And I am Noble Crosbyan, and up next the headlines of the bulletin.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Remains of late Dr. Ibrahim Tala Muhammad and Alhaji Limuna Munir Muhammad laid to rest at the Burma Camp Military Cemetery as DNA results for the remaining 6 victims arrive in Accra.
Also coming up, calls grow for the government to take a tougher stance on illegal mining to honor the memory of the departed 8.
Pokwasi Sawam Road work stalls as frustrated commuters, motorists suffer from worsening conditions.
In international news tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government's plan to take over Gaza City is the best way to end the war and defeat Hamas. Welcome to the broadcast. You can also join us on our social media pages at TV3 Ghana as we begin the bulletin from here.
In the details this evening, work on the Pokwasi Sawam Road is yet to resume. Commuters and motorists continue to bear the brunt of the road's current poor conditions. Roads and Transport correspondent Stalini Blow has filed the following report.
The Ofankon-Sam Road is one of the key arteries connecting Accra to several regions across the country. Currently, it is undergoing reconstruction after earlier works carried out in 2005 deteriorated, resulting in severe vehicular congestion and hampered commuting. The previous administration awarded the 34.4-kilometer stretch to Maripoma Enterprise Limited, a local construction firm. However, work stalled despite significant progress by the contractor. Reports suggest that payment certificates submitted by the contractor had not been cleared, stalling progress. Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agboja, says over 400 million cedis was paid recently by the Finance Ministry.
According to the Minister for Roads and Highways, Gavin Kwame Agboja, all certificates raised by the contractor has been honored. However, work on the stretch is yet to resume. Commuters and motorists insist they are reeling under the current condition.
There has been no contractor on site. This road has been my regular route, but the deteriorating condition is no longer bearable.
A lot of potholes, and there are certain places that need to be filled, especially these 3 days that there was a rain. It has created a lot of potholes, which is leading to congestion of the cars here and there. Even motorbikes cannot even maneuver and pass through. So we are pleading our government to come and do something for us.
Now, commuters, motorists and even pedestrians are feeling the impact. Vehicles frequently break down in the middle of heavy traffic, worsening the already difficult situation. In some cases, frustrated passengers get down to help push broken down vehicles. Motorists have expressed their frustration over delays in completing the project.
We will be forced to embark on a demonstration if nothing is done to address the contractor's concern and facilitate its return to site. We are incurring significant costs on this stretch, compounded by heavy traffic.
4 hours day, it took me 4 hours to drive from Pokwasi to Amasaman due to the heavy traffic. The poor condition of the road is a major concern for all of us.
Others who tried alternative routes hoping to avoid traffic were disappointed to encounter equally poor road conditions. Motorbike taxis, popularly known as Okada, have become the fastest alternative on the stretch, but riders are now charging exorbitant fares.
Because before you'll be able to move from here to maybe Sapema, before I used to take like let's say 5 minutes, I'll be in Sapema, but right now I have to maneuver and find my way throughout corners before I can get to Sapema. So if I'm charging from here to Sapema 20 cedis, I might charge 50 cedis or 40 cedis due to the condition of the road.
As road users continue to endure the hardship, their demand is unanimous. They want the contractor to return to site and expedite completion of the road until work resumes and meaningful progress is made. The Ofankon-Sam stretch will remain a daily nightmare, costing commuters time, money, and in many cases, their patience. Stanley Niblew, TV3 News, Accra.
And as a nation still in mourning, Islamic burial rites have been performed for the late Dr. Murtala Muhammad and Alhaji Muniru Lumuna, who were part of the 8 killed in the tragic helicopter crash last week. President Mahama, in a brief remark, indicated that government officials will continue to work hard to honor their memory, indicating that the DNA results for the remaining 6 victims have been received.
The burial service started with Islamic prayers, the Salat al-Janaza, at the forecourt of the State House. It was attended by President John Dramani Mahama, Vice President J. Nana Opoku-Agyeman, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin, National Chief Imam Sheikh Usman Nuhu Shaributu, families of the victims, among other dignitaries. After minutes of waiting, the remains of Dr. Murtala Muhammad and Alhaji Muniru Lumuna arrived at the grounds, after which the Imam led the special prayers.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
This was followed by their interment at the military cemetery near Bema Camp. Having performed the Islamic burial rite, key national figures and families took turns to pay their last respect to the deceased after their remains were lowered into the grave. In his brief remarks, President Mahama expressed gratitude to the families.
I want to thank the families too for accepting my decision that they be buried here in the military cemetery. Many of you would have probably had other intentions for their burial, but I do believe that this is a conducive resting place for the 2 brothers, and the families are free to visit their graves anytime that you want to do so.
He further indicated that government will continue to work hard to honor their memory.
And may the memory of them guide us too. I believe that they would have wanted us to continue the hard work that we were doing with them. And so, in memory of them, we shall continue to work very hard to serve the people of Ghana, to ensure the success of our reset agenda, so that their names will be written in gold in paradise. The forensic reports for the rest have also arrived. With their families, we would decide how their funerals should be held.
Some national figures urged more reflections on the lives lived by the departed souls while calling for unity.
Personally, I agreed to do, certain interventions recently, and I feel so sad that he's gone too soon. But we will continue to make these interventions so they will stand as legacy in his name. It's a heavy thing for us to carry. But Allah, we know, has received his soul well, and Allah will put him in Jannatul Firdaus.
We are mourning, and for me, they are my, junior brothers who, happen to have been involved in this accident. It's very difficult to continue to talk about them. I want us to reflect on their life and to continue where they have left.
An interdenominational state funeral for the other 6 victims of the crash is expected for Friday, August 15th, 2025 at the Black Star Square. This is the final destination. This is where their life's journey comes to an end. Per Islam, it is believed that as tragic as their death was, they would be accepted into paradise. And a prayer has been offered to them so that Allah would give them the ability to answer the question of the grave. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Bema Camp Military Cemetery.
Meanwhile, Assistant Director of Naval Religious Affairs of the Ghana Armed Forces, Naval Lieutenant Mohammed Misbah Said, earlier today spoke about Muslim burial rites. He also addressed concerns raised by some Muslims regarding the slight delay in performing the janazah, the Islamic prayer for the dead before burial, by citing an example from the hadith.
Ghanaians continue to mourn 8 revered men who tragically lost their lives in the helicopter crash on the 6th day of August 2025. 2 of these men were staunch Muslims whose faith in Islam, integrity, and exemplary character preceded them. As the nation gears up to say its last goodbyes to Honorable Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed and Alhaji Muniru Limuna Mohammed at the forecourt of the State House today, TV3 interviewed an Islamic cleric, Navy Lieutenant Mohammed Misbah Said, to gain further insight into the Islamic burial process and what the Islamic texts say.
The reason why we bury as quick as possible is that in Hadith, the Prophet tells us that when a pious person dies, he tells you, the Ummah, Kaddimuni, 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 hurry up and bury me. Because the mercies of Allah await him in the life of purgatory. You are from the soil. You go back to the soil and you'll be resurrected from that same soil. So on the day of resurrection, the soul, which I said it is in Eliyin, will be brought back to the body so that the body will rise to go and face judgment. This is the main reason you see us burying as quick as possible.
While many speculate and ask why the rush, the cleric provides insight as to why there was a delay in the burial of the statesman, while citing instances in Islam where delays are permissible. He urges attendees to be compliant with any instructions given and for all due protocols to be observed on the burial grounds.
Assuming we keep the body and we are waiting for somebody to come and see before we go, that person will not bring that body back to life. And the family has also given the go-ahead. And they have the final say. It is not the Ghana Armed Forces, it is not the presidents, it's the family. So whatever you see even the government doing, it is in consultation with the families. So they have given the green light, they have given the go-ahead. That is the reason today we are saying we are burying the 2 Muslims. So this goes back to the Prophet himself. The Prophet died on Monday, but he was buried on Wednesday. So when he died, some of the companions were of the view that no, this man cannot die. So we are not sure he's dead. Some even went to the extent of saying that if you say that the prophet is dead, you will lose your head. By then, the first caliph, Sayyidina Abu Bakr, wasn't around. He was on a business trip. So he returned home on Wednesday. When he came, he met a lot of people at the masjid, the mosque of the prophet. So he asked, what is happening? Everyone gave his version. He's asleep, whatever that they said. Then Sayyidina Umar approached him and he said, the prophet has been sleeping for long. Sayyidina Abu Bakr entered. When he entered, he came out to tell the congregation, are you a nas? Anyone who was worshipping Muhammad should know that today Muhammad is no more. But if you are a worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is alive and he dies not. Just as our own. Some are saying he should be taken to Tamale to be buried. Some are saying they should take him to Awodomi. A whole lot of things. So it happened during the time of prophet.
As we lay these great men to rest, we can only join in prayer that Allah is pleased with their souls and grants them Jannah. We fervently hope that they rest forever in perfect peace.
Now, shifting from burial traditions to the matters of faith in the nation, the presidential envoy for interfaith and religious relations has called on religious leaders across to formally share any prophecies or spiritual insights of national importance with the government. The presidential envoy, Elvis Afriankra, in a statement on behalf of the president, expressed heartfelt appreciation to churches and other religious bodies for their unwavering spiritual support, intercessory prayers, and sustained leadership in promoting peace, moral integrity, and national unity. Well, he stressed that the role of faith leaders in Ghana's spiritual and civic life remains indispensable and urged them to channel sensitive revelations directly to his office. Well, let's have a conversation on the back of this and engage with Elvis Afriankra, the presidential envoy for interfaith and religious relations. Mr. Ankra, thank you so much for joining us. Good evening to you. My first question to you will be, how will your office verify and act on prophecies or spiritual insights shared by religious persons?
Thank you very much. Let me put the issues in context. I have worked very closely with spiritual leaders from all sides, Christian, Muslim, traditional, for many, many years. And they are very, very good people. What pains me is when, for the sake of one or two persons who do wrong, they are all bunched together as if they are all bad people. So it is important to stress the context from which this is coming from, that we have a great deal of respect for religious leaders, and as the statement said, they've been partners in nation building. However, we've gotten to a point where things seem to be getting out of hand. Every single day, we are seeing messages, TikTok messages from different kinds of people prophesying very serious things concerning the nation and its leadership. And I dare say that it's causing a lot of fear and panic. My inbox is inundated with various prophecies. Have you seen this? Have you heard this? What are you doing about it? And you people, so, and more often than not, when you probe further, the challenge, they say, is that they don't have access to government officials. They are not able to reach us. People don't pick their calls. People don't respond to them, etc. So we have created a channel, a WhatsApp number, and an email address that if you have any prophecy concerning the president, the vice president, senior political leaders, prophecies that border on the security of the state. For example, if you say that an aircraft is going to crash, a military aircraft, it's a security matter. Those are matters that you should relate to us. We're not saying that your normal, everyday prophecies in church about your church members or people, you should bring it to us. So that's not what we're saying. We're creating a vehicle, an opportunity for you, so that when it comes to those things, you would have the platform to bring it to us This country is made up of various seasoned men and women of God. The Bible tells us in 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 20 to 21, that we should not despise prophecies. We should test it all. And so there's and biblically, the Bible also tells us in 1 John 4, verse 1, that we should test the spirits. There are spirits that are of God, spirits that are not of God. And the Bible also tells us that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word is established. And so we just want to bring some order and sanity.
Okay.
Because the past few days have been very challenging.
So
you see families that are traumatized, and then people say, "Oh, this is just the beginning. More people are going to die."
Ms. Ankra, when your office receives these messages, what steps would your office or will you take about them? Would you call the people they are concerned, the stakeholders according to the message, to listen and then act? How will your office act on the messages you'd receive?
So first of all, I don't work alone. I work with different, virtually all the clergy in this country, both Muslim, Christian, traditional. So we'll look at them, the seasoned, experienced people, we'll weigh them, assess them. And those that will need to be called will be called. Those that need to be met face to face will be met, and everything will be assessed, and then we take it from there. But if you see in the message, we ask that they should pray for the country, because at the end of the day, even if there's a prophecy, the Bible says God reveals to redeem, and it is only prayer that can avert or turn the clock. So yes, at the foundation of everything is prayer. So we just want to create that opportunity to listen to people, because that's the main challenge they've been saying, that they don't have the opportunity. When they see things, nobody minds them, we don't pick our calls, etc. So we've created a dedicated line, and we would create that opportunity to assess everything, and then what needs to be done will be done.
Right. Ms. Ankra, thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Elvis Free Ankra speaking with us there. Let's do some other stories tonight.
Now, the Special Anti-Galamsey Task Force deployed by the Inspector General of Police to Manso Edubia in the Ashanti Region has strengthened its resolve to combat illegal mining. Their renewed commitment follows the tragic helicopter crash that claimed 8 lives. Here's a report by Stanley Niblo.
The Police Anti-Galamsey Task Force, operating in the Manso Edubia enclave, was deeply shaken by the deaths of the 5 government officials and 3 service personnel who perished when their helicopter crashed while en route to Obuasi in the Ashanti region for a national assignment. The task force paused operations and retreated to base to honor the fallen heroes, observing a solemn moment of silence at their base.
We have lost 8 solid Ghanaians in a very desirable circumstance. I think nobody expected this. Our Minister of Defense, the MP for Tamale Central, and other officials, and even the panel, unfortunately, they all ended their life in a situation nobody understands. Ghanaians are mourning, and we are equally mourning same. I think we all have to maintain a minute silence for the departed soul as we continue with our briefing.
Under the command of DSP Karim from the National Police Headquarters, the team renewed their pledge to wage an unrelenting war against illegal mining, a menace that continues to destroy forest reserves.
We are here to check our road and know that everybody is in good spirit. And from your response, we can say without any doubt that we are all at the same page and ready to go out there and work for Mother Ghana. Yes, that is the pride that we take as police officers, to defend and do the job that people are so afraid to do. That is why we are here.
Acting on a tip-off, the team moved into Ehuren near Bekwai in the Manso Edubia municipality, where they seized 3 excavators and towed them to their secure base. The illegal miners, who had already destroyed a cassava farm in the course of their activities, fled upon sighting the task force.
Fortunately, when we came, the illegal miners quickly ran away, and some of them were moving with the excavators and they have to leave it on the way and then they left.
The tragic loss of lives has deepened the IGP's men determination to protect Ghana's natural resources. As they mourn their compatriots, their message is clear. The fight against illegal mining will press on stronger, smarter, and in honor of those who paid the ultimate price. Stanley Nibble, TV3 News.
Well, they were on a mission aimed at fighting the menace of illegal mining. However, that journey ended in disaster after the helicopter conveying them to a major anti-galamsey initiative by government crashed, killing all 8 on board. Now, calls of mining by declaring a state of emergency. There's more in this report.
The death of 8 Ghanaians, including 2 cabinet ministers, in the helicopter crash has reignited the debate on the fight against illegal mining. The 2 ministers, along with the acting Deputy National Security Coordinator, were being transported in a Ghana Air Force helicopter for the launch of a new government initiative aimed at tackling illegal mining. The initiative, dubbed the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program, according to the government, is focused on supporting locally owned mining cooperatives with training, legal concessions, and access to modern equipment. However, the 5 government officials did not make it as their helicopter crashed, killing them and 3 members of the Ghana Air Force. Speaking on the key points, a former Minister of Environment, Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, blamed politicians for the persistence of illegal mining despite numerous measures to curb it.
Those who are doing the thing are the people who have 25, 30, 50 excavators. They get the concessions, they don't go through the process, and they get security men to secure the area and they mine. These are the destruction, not Galamsey people. And if you want to deal with them, and these are very powerful people. We saw them in the MPP, and they are still there now, as Ken is saying. I am very passionate about these things. So, President Mahama, if you want to stop the thing now, if it's not stopping, it means because of people high up in government, in the political party, that are doing these things.
CEO of the Chamber of Mines, Ken Ashibe, said the tragic death of the 8 persons involved in the military helicopter crash should lead to an end to illegal mining.
These are environmental criminals that we have to deal with. But we decide to look at it in other ways. His Excellency calls it a national emergency. But His Excellency will not declare the state of emergency so that we can deal with this decisively. My prayer is that the blood of these 8 gallant Ghanaians will not go in vain. Like the blood of Christ, their lives for us.
For statesman and renowned economist Kwame Pianim, President Mahama must use this opportunity to ban all non-industrial gold mining for at least 3 months as the country mourns the passing of the 8 individuals.
It's an existential threat, and the president should focus on it and resolve it. And this loss is a strong reminder that this problem needs to be tackled and resolved. We had suggested that there should be a complete freeze, a 3-month, 6-month freeze on all non-industrial gold mining, so that a presidential commission is set up to look into it, and once they come out, they will have social response. How do we solve the social problems?
For Wolasewa, coordinator of Eco-Conscious Citizens, an environmental NGO that has championed the fight against illegal mining, this tragedy should serve as a wake-up call to confront what she described as environmental terrorists.
That we need to use this opportunity to say that enough is enough. You know, I'm looking at all the people who have lost their lives, the children who have drowned in open pits left by the environmental terrorists. I think they are environmental terrorists. We are looking at the police officers who drowned, you know, when they were actively chasing some environmental terrorists. We are looking at the Forestry Commission officers who have been attacked. A couple have been killed. Some have been traumatized. We are looking at the journalists who have been attacked. I'm also thinking of the farmers and fishermen who have lost their livelihoods, those who have developed kidney disease. is a marker. Enough is enough. Too many hearts are bleeding. Too many families have been ripped apart. Enough is enough. Let's declare a state of emergency. Let's get rid of the environmental terrorists and their equipment.
As Ghana continues to mourn the loss of 8 individuals who died in service to their nation, there's a growing public hope that concrete action will be taken to address the menace of illegal mining. The crisis of illegal mining has not only claimed valuable lives, but also devastated water bodies, farmlands, and livelihoods.
Moving on to some more news this evening, residents of Navrongo in the Upper East region are expressing concern after a gas tanker overturned on Friday and has yet to be evacuated, sparking fears of a potential disaster. The tanker, which was reportedly en route to Burkina Faso, veered off the Navrongo-Paga road and overturned under unclear circumstances. Since the incident, local authorities, including the Ghana Police Service, the Ghana National Fire Service, and the National Disaster Management Organization, have been working to safely evacuate the vehicle to avert disaster. Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala is at the scene now and joins us with more details. Castro, if you can hear me, what does the scene look like right now, and has the tanker been secured?
Right, good evening, Aisha. Yes, I am currently a few meters away from the scene where the incident happened on Friday. And as you can see behind me, there's free flow of traffic now because the police, in collaboration with the Ghana National Fire Service and that of the NADMO, have been able to evacuate the vehicle. And as we speak now, it has been put back on the road after almost 3 days in the ditch where it has been for, a couple of days, raising concerns on residents who feared that they would have been, a disaster that will rock the entirety of the municipality. But thankfully, the efforts have paid off. And as we speak now, the vehicle has been evacuated. But I'm just getting some new information that even though there's been that successful evacuation, the police and other security agencies have arrested the driver. And as we speak now, he's been sent to the Navrongo Police Headquarters, where we understand he's been interrogated. And in the coming days or by tomorrow morning, new steps will be taken as far as punitive measures are concerned to prevent others from doing what happened 3 days ago.
Okay, but how are residents reacting to all of this? I know that there'll be a little bit of panic. Have you spoken to any of them? What have they been telling you?
Yes, residents were really panicking, Aisha. It was it's an incident. It was an incident that residents did not pray for it to continue to delay, because 3 days with a gas tanker filled with gas, it was something that the residents were not really happy about. They kept calling. In fact, there was this old lady whose house is just close by, and she continuously came to the site or the scene of the accident to plead with the police, the NADMO, and the Ghana National Fire Service to quickly remove the vehicle from the scene, because according to her, she had children back at home, in the house, and she didn't want a situation whereby there would be a disaster that would affect them. And so residents were not really happy. And so when the vehicle was eventually towed out to the ditch, the entire, houses there with people there burst into jubilation to show that they are really happy that the disaster has been managed properly and safely. And in the next few minutes, the whole place will be very cool again, and residents can go about their duties. And so behind me, if you can see, you see that heavy vehicles that had been blocked and were not able to move are currently being moved freely. And Aisha, let me bring to the understanding of this, viewers, that this is an important road. It links to Burkina Faso, and so it's an important ECOWAS road. And so the blockade there meant that vehicles could not move. But as we speak now, vehicles are moving freely, and everything is back to normal.
Castro, we are also equally happy that that tanker has been secured safely from the road. Thank you very much for that update. Castro Senyala is our Upper East Regional Correspondent.
This is still News 360 Live, also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We're back with more stories after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Let's do some more stories tonight. And 43% of children under 2 years in Ghana, they've been exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of life. That's according to the Ghana Statistical Service. While most mothers initiate exclusive breastfeeding, a significant number, especially in rural Ghana, do not do so within the first 6 months of birth as recommended. As Ghana joins the rest of the world to observe World Breastfeeding Week, my colleague Christopher Marco throws the spotlight on the challenges.
Exclusive breastfeeding acts as the first vaccine for newborn babies, providing protection against diseases such as diarrhea and pneumonia. Exclusive breastfeeding is defined as feeding an infant only breast milk for the first 6 months of life. The Ghana Statistical Service reports that while 96.8% of children under 2 have been breastfed, only 43% are exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months. The government has set a target to increase exclusive breastfeeding to 62% by end of 2025. This is due to the overlapping challenges for new mothers, health workers, and health systems. Seydou Najat, a mother of one from Damango in the Savannah region, is one 8-month-old girl.
My baby is now 8 months.
Health, development, and survival during the earlier stages of life.
When she turned to 3 months, I saw my mother once giving her water, and like when we went to weigh in and they asked me, I told the nurses, and the nurses were uncomfortable, and they advised me not to give her water because it's not good for the baby's health. And I can see it's true. So from that day going, I told my mom, even if my mom is going to bath her, I always make sure I'll stick with my mom so that she won't be able to give the girl water.
Some cultural beliefs and traditional practices, such as giving infants water or other liquids, can influence mothers to choose formula feeding over breastfeeding, which can hinder exclusive breastfeeding. Sirina Bokro, a traditional birth attendant, shares these beliefs. It used to be a normal thing to give the children water right from the day they are born. But over time, we have realized it doesn't help the children. A senior staff midwife at the St. Anne's Catholic Hospital in Damango, Modesta Gandaku, believes intensified education and training for women is key to encouraging exclusive breastfeeding.
I am a beneficiary. My first child benefited from the exclusive breastfeeding. Then my second child, who I think is also benefiting from the exclusive breastfeeding. I think when I breastfed exclusively, he doesn't fall sick often. So the childhood sicknesses is taken care of. He doesn't fall sick like that. Then the brain development too is a benefit. He has benefited it. So I encourage them to breastfeed exclusively because it helps in their mental development and also the IQ. It builds the child's IQ.
She warned against the use of substitutes within the first 6 months after birth.
We do not encourage the substitute before the 6 months grace period because the breast milk contains the water and all the nutrients that is needed from the first month to the 6 months. And then as the baby is still small, the stomach is small. So you can't say that the breast milk alone will not satisfy the child from the first month to the 6 months. So we encourage them, though those challenges are there, we encourage them to do the exclusive, telling them the importance and then that it will be enough for the baby.
This year's World Breastfeeding Week is being observed under the theme, Prioritize Breastfeeding, Create Sustainable Support Systems. It behoves the government, employers, husbands, and members of the public to ensure that women are given the necessary space and opportunity to breastfeed their babies. Christopher Mwako, TV3 News, Damongo.
Bill's Microcredit is for the second time sponsoring the Gamashi Homo celebration. Ahead of the festival, indigents embarked on a health walk to keep fit in preparation for the festivities.
Traditional priests known as Wulome, indigents from key Ga traditional communities, and staff of Bill's Microcredit assembled at the Manchabuena in Jamestown to participate in pre-activities marking this year's Homowo Festival. Sponsored by Bill's, the participants paraded through the principal street of the Central Business District, Choko, Kolegono, Mamprobi and Bukom, to promote the Bill's brand and share goodwill ahead of the native festival. The day's activities also featured various games alongside a free health screening for residents. Head of Human Capital at Bill's Microcredit, Abigail Nadedekwe, explained the company's association with the Homowo celebration.
At Bill's, we are in the 16 regions, which include Gamashi. So this is really something that supports the brand, and that is why we are supporting it. And so we are not just supporting it for our business, but we are also supporting this to let them know that we are here to be part of them by working with them and assuring them that we are not here to just do business with them, but we are here to also celebrate and cherish their tradition.
Bills also set up a customer service desk to address concerns about its products and services. Nade Dekwe elaborates.
We are taking the opportunity, we can see our stand over there, to also welcome people who have issues. So we are not just having this fun or work with them, but we also want to listen to the feedback they have for us as an organization. And this is a fine opportunity for them to also know or hear what we have to say and see how best they can also strategize themselves and do prompt repayment for us.
The Gamashi Homowo celebration is scheduled for Saturday, August 16, 2025, and will be preceded by the Twins Yam Festival on Friday, August 15, 2025.
This is News 360. Sports News is up next. insecticide spray and coil.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishe. Now, after a tournament or a game, everything seems to point to the playing body when teams win, lose or draw. That was the case when the Black Queens won bronze at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, but the national team these days is much more than that. Now, my colleague Akosi AJ explores and tells a story about some of the backroom staff who make the women's national team great.
In the success story of the Black Queens winning bronze at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations is Renee Opari-Otu, the team dietitian. Though her work usually happens behind the scenes, more of what she does impacts the playing body. Her responsibilities in the Black Queens are clearly cut out to make sure that the players are well fed in order to perform at the highest level. She's one of many modern dietitians brought in specifically to ensure teams function at their peak.
What I do is to optimize athlete health or athlete performance, and then also to ensure that they are healthy and then to prevent injuries through nutrition. I want to make sure that you have a menu or meal plan in place, and then if there's a chef that we are going along with, we'll probably go into the details of the menu.
In Morocco, part of her responsibilities were to ensure the team functions well through healthy meals. She details her task before, during and after match days.
For a player, your fuel is carbohydrates, so emphasis on carbs, the bread, the cereal, the porridge they will have, and then you have moderate protein and very little fats. And then hydration is also important. We need to make sure that they are taking in enough fluids so that whilst they are on the field, they are not dehydrating too much. So things that they would eat in the dressing room, the electrolyte drinks that they would have, and then after the game, you would want to make sure that their recovery drinks are also available.
Healthy meals may be important for energy storage, but translating that energy to the pitch is a different matter altogether. That is where Ronnie Begdal comes in. He's the assistant coach as well as the performance analyst of the team.
That means that I'm a speaking partner to Kim when it comes to tactical things. I scout the opponents. I'm trying to figure out how they will play against us. It's easy to see what they have done, but how will they play against us? That's the most important thing to figure out. So that's what I'm trying to do, see the style of play that they are having, both in attacking and defense, and then also talk to Kim about how we can do to meet the opponent in the best possible way.
Rooney Begdal is already looking ahead to the 2026 WAFCON qualifiers, where he believes lots of the missing pieces in attack and defense can fall in place.
The qualifying games against Egypt this autumn for the next WAFCON to make Ghana better as a team, as a nation. Of course, it's a lot about the coaches also in the national leagues and also from young age to teach them some skills.
So when you see a team in a tournament performing well or underperforming, it's much more than the coach. In most cases over the years, teams overhaul their backroom staff to improve performance. At the highest level, Pep Guardiola works with more than 20 backroom staff at Manchester City. Chelsea's women's side now have more than 10 backroom staff, highlighting the increased focus in women's football. With the sport getting bigger each year, countries are heavily investing in the backroom staff of their teams.
A beautiful story there from Akosia AJ. Now, FA Cup holders Crystal Palace beat Premier League champions Liverpool 3-2 on penalties after a 2-2 draw to win an enthralling Community Shield on Sunday. That's all for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Ishen.
Women's News segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news this evening, promising Ghanaian artists Kweku Bani and Hindu have teamed up to release a tribute song in honor of the 8 individuals who lost their lives in Wednesday's tragic helicopter crash. Titled Black Wednesday, lyrics of the song offer comfort and extend condolences to the bereaved families.
Rest in peace, Sergeant Alex Ado. Rest in peace. Ghana money, what they happen? And don't you see that Ghana had day all of a sudden? Tragedy, this, and it's really sudden.
The song, released in the wake of the tragedy, serves as a tribute and a space for reflection on the loss. Titled Black Wednesday, the reflective piece expresses sorrow and honors the 8 lives lost in the crash.
Everybody is talking. In Tabata crashing. It's a question. Charlie life, we know you're somewhere we are fucking. They all died in a plane crash. Helicopter. Was a Mutala Muhammad on a doctor on my Nebuama and 6 other people.
While expressing regret for the bereaved family's pain, the song questions the circumstances surrounding the tragic crash.
Let's now bring you some international news.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his government's plan to take over Gaza City is the best way to end the war and defeat Hamas. The UK, France and other European countries warn Israel's plan risks violating international humanitarian law as a UN emergency meeting on Gaza is taking place in New York. Protests against the government's decision to expand the Gaza war have intensified in Israel as hostages' families have condemned the move. Israel strongly rejects the condemnation, with Defense Minister Israel Katz saying it will not weaken our resolve. In Gaza, the Hamas-run health ministry reports the total death toll from malnutrition has risen to 217, including 100 children. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked European leaders on Sunday for backing his demand for a seat at the table as Russia and the United States prepare for a summit this week where Kiev fears they could seek to dictate terms to it for ending the 3.5-year war. US President Donald Trump, who for weeks has been threatening new sanctions against Russia for failing to halt the conflict, announced instead last Friday that he would hold an August 15 summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. Trump has said a potential deal would involve some swapping of territories to the betterment of both sides, but President Zelensky said any decision taken without Ukraine will be stillborn and unworkable. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says the deputy head of the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, will travel to Tehran for talks, but visits to nuclear sites will not be part of the agenda. Speaking to reporters on Sunday, Araghchi said during the UN Nuclear Agency's official trip, the sites are scheduled to hold talks about a new framework for Iran IAEA cooperation. On June 25, the Iranian parliament unanimously passed a law mandating the government to suspend all cooperation with the IAEA. Under the
That's our package for you tonight, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. My name is Noble Crosby-Annan.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Up next is Ghana's most beautiful, and tonight is for tourism. Enjoy.